My name is Raelle Myrick-Hodges, and I have the pleasure of being the stage director for Sweet. The way that I look at the world of Sweet is, although it is set in the summers of 1967 and 1968, it's really about the bubble that a family, or two siblings, in this case two sisters, are able to create for themselves. They live in their own world, and the real world intrudes on top of it. First and foremost, my job is just to serve the playwright. The process in the rehearsal room becomes a lot about, I make a series of sectionals so that each acting artist, by the end of this week, their first week, has had more than an hour, if not more, privately with me for them to tell me their process, so that I understand how to speak the same language to them. And instead of fighting that, I try to embrace that immediately so that we can come together as a collective to make the work. But set design gets to start at the beginning with the acting artists because they have to know where their props are. All of the designers are fantastic and I'm super excited, and as a director I use all design elements as characters. I have a thing as a director where I choose a question at the beginning as a director that may not be something that's shared with the rest of the company, and it's usually the action I want an audience member to do later. So, for example, for this one, I want siblings that have had a falling out with their sibling to call. That's what I want. I think Black joy is about being able to make your own choices. There is no one way to be Black or joyous, and thus this play makes space to be all of those hues and have all of those feelings. And that's what Sweet represents for me. The breath of fresh air is the poetry of this particular play, and that the way that I'm looking at directing it has a lot to do with the poetry of it. And so there's literal air in it. This is my first play in New York City, and I get to do it at the National Black Theater that has been in Harlem since 1968. It's the first African-American company I've ever worked for as a professional director, which I find very odd because I've done a lot of plays about African-American people at not African-American environments. And so I'm excited to actually see an audience that is a reflection of the actors on stage.